Samane Un was allowed to stay a monk, and he was not kicked out. And only a few years later, he would be known as Balat Un by the order of the king, and became known as the most famous Smot, or Dharma song master of the 20th century. About 4 years ago, when I first went to Cambodia, before I knew much of the language, and I wasn't even sure why I was there, what I was really there for. I took a trip out to the countryside to see a Smot master, who became my teacher, Brung Un. And I wondered what I would see, what I would hear as I rode in the car along the road, the hot sun beating down, passing by miles and miles of rice fields, until finally, at the foot of a small hill, we entered a village in Kampong Spu province. And there was a house tucked away beneath a tree, with just one room upstairs and a balcony. And on the balcony, some students were assembled, and an older man in a white shirt and black pants was sitting there. I went up, we exchanged greetings, and sat down. And no sooner had I sat down, he began to sing. And at that moment, I knew why I had come to Cambodia. I had come to study from this man, to study these Dharma songs, these chants which conveyed the teachings of the Buddha, these chants which speak from the heart of what is most difficult to face in our lives. Speak of impermanence, of suffering, of selflessness. And for me, this tradition, whether we call it Smot or Dharma songs, or Toa Bot in Khmer, is about stories. It's about telling stories from the heart in the most expressive way we can with a voice. And that is the gift, that is the magic of these songs, of these melodies. And so today, this evening, I'd like to share about these stories, which weaves together my story with the story of my teachers and their teachers, the story of this tradition as it emerged in Cambodia from its earlier Buddhist roots, and also the stories contained within these songs, which speak not only of their Buddhist heritage, but also of how they were transformed in Cambodia into beautiful poetry, into songs, words that take stories from ancient times, from mythic time, and relate them to our hearts. But most importantly, I hope today that by sharing these stories, it may be some small inspiration for you to share your own, wherever you may come from, wherever your stories may be. That this tradition of sharing stories through music, from the heart, may awaken whatever stories in you which need to be heard. And may I listen well to all of your stories. So this tradition of Dharma songs, which emerges in Cambodia in this beautiful form, also tells the story of Buddhism from its roots in India as it traveled across Asia and into Southeast Asia and into Cambodia. And this song, which I will sing, conveys some of that history. Satham Patay Brahma An Bangkum Maranthani Samdak Prabhakyavi Nai kia tham yang nung ai. This story, this song, which is used daily into Cambodia to invite a monk to give a sermon, also recalls the story or the legend of how Buddhism or this religion came to be. In that, according to this Dharma song, after the Buddha reached enlightenment, he wanted to share his teaching, but he thought that perhaps it was too subtle, that no living being would be able to grasp it, and that by teaching it, he would only confuse people. But there was a god in the heavens by the name of Sahampati Brum, who realized that perhaps there were living beings in the world who would be able to hear this teaching that the Buddha had to share. And so implored the Buddha by singing a verse like this to share what he had realized. And so that is reenacted each time this Dharma song is shared.